Well, hello there. It's nice to see you. My name is Floss. This is the Grape Jelly Library, where we love to talk about those books. I am so glad you could join me. I always look forward to your visit. How are you? How are you doing? I am doing well. I have my cup of coconut coffee that I am enjoying this Sunday evening. And I also have, let me put this down. And I also have a big, beautiful stack of books. This is a 5-book box. Book of the month. Books. Let's open this up. I already opened it up. Peekaboo. I already opened it up. And they look a little like that. Oh my goodness. Yes, let's get into this. Now, this hair is doing whatever it wants, and I'm okay with it. Because we ain't here for a beauty contest. We're here for the books. Okay, so the first book that I chose this book because I see it a lot in my circle. I see it a lot. I do nothing with it. Nothing. So I thought, you know what? Let's just find out. Let's just put that to rest, get it, and do the thing. So, 2 things before we get into the book. 1, if you like a varied selection of books and you read all the genres like I do, then subscribe to this channel because I am the gal for you. I absolutely read outside of the box. I absolutely will not stay in my lane. I will cross over 4 lanes to get to a genre that I don't even like because I am that kind of person. Inquiring minds. I like to be well-rounded. I once read a book titled A Well-Read Woman. And although I have been reading for 22 years, I would not consider myself to be well-read when I compare myself. I know it's not good to compare yourself, but when I compare myself to these others who have read so many of the classics, I have hardly read any. I have hardly read any sci-fi. I have hardly read any horror. So through this channel and because of this channel, I have broadened my horizons, and I feel I am a better person for it. I'm much better off as far as my reading goes, and I'm way more proud of myself than I have ever been when it comes to reading. So, yeah, if you have a goal for yourself or you want to try something different and read something other than the genre that you typically generate towards, then, pay attention to this channel because we read it all over here. Okay, now the second thing I wanted to say was, this is a book that I have seen a lot cross my path. Yeah. It crosses my path a lot. That's what I wanted to say. So I decided I was going to go ahead and purchase this. And I set myself up with a goal. I am to read at least 2 Book of the Month books per month. I can read whatever I want, but 2 of those books have to be Book of the Month so that I can somehow, some way get my pile down. I have quite a bit of Book of the Month books that have gone unread, and I am not proud of that. So I am trying to book by book conquer those books, get them read, get a better feeling about the whole, not wasting my money. I don't want to cancel this subscription. I love this subscription. It's a value in and of itself. So the problem is not Book of the Month. The problem is me. And I am absolutely doing something about that. All right. So now let's get into this book. The book I am talking about was written by Caleb Carr. It is called The Alienist. It looks like this. It is a complex thriller set in 1896 New York City. It is about a doctor by the name of Laszlo Kreiser. Dr. Kreiser sets out to find out who exactly is not only murdering but mutilating male child prostitutes. Now, I know that sounds absolutely horrific, disgusting. I wouldn't blame you if you wouldn't want to read this. I don't want to read this myself, but I am going to read this because I just want to put it to rest already. I see it quite often. I just want to say that I read it. Now, the thing that intrigued me mostly about this book is not even the storyline. It was the fact that the author, Mr. Carr, told his publisher that this was a true story. We all know how that goes. True crime is one thing, fiction crime is another. True crime is just a little bit more attention grabbing. However, this is fiction. It is not true crime. The author told his publisher that to get the book published. Eventually, he set the record straight and came out and said that he had told a little fabrication there, that the story was indeed fiction. Well, the publisher decided to go ahead and put it out there regardless. It went on to produce massive sales, massive. And that is the part that makes my brain want to know what is in this book that the masses know that I don't. So that's why I chose this book. The next book that I chose, beautiful cover, nice, sunny, summery. This is Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie. This is my very first Agatha Christie read. My very, very first. I'm a little excited about that. This is the story about a gentleman by the name of Hercule Poirot. Let me tell you a little bit about him. He is a character that was created by Christie, I believe back in 1925, 1927, somewhere around there, to 1975. He appeared in over 33 novels, 2 plays, and 51 or 55 short stories. I'm not quite sure, but a lot. So he has definitely made the rounds, and he has definitely let his name be known except for I don't follow Agatha Christie, so I know nothing about Hercule. That's what I'm talking about. In order for me to be well-rounded, I need to find these things out. So that's what I am doing. This is the story of Hercule Poirot, who decides he's going to take an Egyptian vacation on a luxury liner. And alas, his vacay is cut short when he finds himself faced with having to find out who put an end to this picture-perfect couple. One member of that picture-perfect couple ends up dead. And good old Hercule is going to find out for us. So this should be a fun read to kind of, you know, play detective in our own minds. See what we come up with. Let me just see what we can do here. Beloved detective Hercule Poirot embarks on a journey to Egypt in one of Agatha Christie's most famous mysteries. Now a major motion picture. Oh, for you moviegoers out there, that should be fun for you. So, let me first do this. Read you a little bit of that. What a lot of enemies you must make, Lynette. Enemies? Lynette looked surprised. Joanna nodded and helped herself to a cigarette. Enemies, my sweet. You're so devastatingly efficient. And you're so frightfully good at doing the right thing, Lynette laughed. Why, I haven't got an enemy in the world. Now, let me do this. The tranquility of a luxury cruise along the Nile was shattered by the discovery that Lynette Ridgway had been shot through the head. She was young, stylish, and beautiful. A girl who had everything until she lost her life. Hercule Poirot recalled an earlier outburst by a fellow passenger. I'd like to put my dear little pistol against her head and just pull the trigger. There's going to be an action-packed storyline that needs to be unfolded in this one. Okay, book number 3. Loving the covers of these books. Loving them. This is a book that is fabulous looking. Now let's see if the storyline is just as fabulous. The only one left. It is a brand new murder mystery written by Todd Ritter, better known as Riley Sager. It is the story of a lady who takes a job taking care of an invalid by the name of Lenora Hope. Decades ago, Lenora was accused of murdering her parents and her younger sister. Let's see about this one. Best-selling author Riley Sager returns with a deliciously twisty and addictive gothic chiller about a young caregiver assigned to work for a woman accused of a Lizzie Borden-like massacre decades earlier. Now reduced to a schoolyard chant, the Hope family murders shocked the Maine coast one bloody night in 1929, while most people assume 17-year-old Lenora was responsible. The police were never able to prove it. Other than her denial after the killing, she has never spoken publicly about that night, nor has she set foot outside Hope's End, the cliffside mansion where the massacre occurred. It's now 1983, and home health aide Kit McDear arrives at the decaying Hope's End to care for Lenora after her previous nurse fled in the middle of the night. In her 70s and confined to a wheelchair, Lenora was rendered mute by a series of strokes and can only communicate with Kit by tapping out sentences on an old typewriter. One night, Lenora uses it to make a tantalizing offer. "I want to tell you everything." Okay, we have 2 more wonderful, fabulous books to present. The Circus Train by Amita Parikh. The author takes us, the reader, on a journey through the splendid world of circuses, magic, thrills, and escapades. However, she counters that by setting it during World War II and further complexes the storyline by giving us a protagonist who is trying to find her place in this world with limits as she endures her disability, her handicap, in a world that isn't so accommodating. It goes a little like this. When all is lost, how do you find the courage to keep moving forward? 1938, Lena Papadopoulos has never quite found her place within the circus, even as the daughter of the extraordinary headlining illusionist, Theo. Brilliant and curious, Lena, who uses a wheelchair after a childhood bout with polio, yearns for the real-world magic of science and medicine, her mind stronger than the limitations placed on her by society. Then her unconventional life takes an exciting turn when she rescues Alexandra, an orphan with his own secrets and a mysterious past. As World War II escalates around them, their friendship blossoms into something deeper, while Alexander trains as the illusionist's apprentice. But when Theo and Alexander are arrested and made to perform in a town for Jews set up by the Nazis, Lena is separated from everything she knows. Forced to make her own way, Lena must confront her doubts and dare to believe in the impossible herself. I think this is going to be a wonderful book. I think we all suffer some sort of handicap, mentally or physically. We all have something about ourselves, an obstacle that we have to overcome, and we can all stand to believe in ourselves a little bit more at times than perhaps we do. So I think this is going to be a fabulous learning experience. At least I feel that way. And then the very last book, like I said, all these great covers. Kathleen Center has given us Hello, Stranger. I am excited to read this. I am good for 1 or 2 romances in the summertime, and I just know that that's what this one is going to be. I'm down for it. The protagonist in this story suffers from a condition known as acquired apperceptive prosopagnosia. There are 2 diagnoses to this condition. One is developmental, and that is the person has had this condition their whole life. 2 is acquired. It was brought forth due to an injury. Both conditions result in a person not being able to distinguish a face. They see eyes, they see a nose, they see a mouth. They just can't put it all together. And with that, let's see what we have. Love isn't blind, it's just a little blurry. Sadie Montgomery. What a lovely name. Sadie Montgomery never saw what was coming, literally. One minute she's celebrating the biggest achievement of her life, placing as a finalist in the North American Portrait Society competition. The next, she's lying in a hospital bed diagnosed with a probably temporary condition known as face blindness. She can see, but every face she looks at is now a jumbled puzzle of disconnected features. Imagine trying to read a book upside down and in another language. This is Sadie's new reality with every face she sees. But as she struggles to cope, hang on to her artistic dream, work through major family issues, and take care of her beloved dog, Peanut, she falls in love, ? Lust, ? A temporary obsession to distract from the real problems in her life, ? With not one but two very different men. The timing couldn't be worse. If only her life were a little more in focus, Sadie might be able to find her way. But perceiving anything clearly right now seems impossible. Even though there are things we can only find when we aren't looking, and there are people who show up when we least expect them, and there are always other ways of seeing. They are my 5 Book of the Month book choices. I hope you will be adding one of these books to a TBR pile near you soon. Until my next video, know that I love you. Be well, be good, be reading, and above all, may all your book dreams come true.